You know, I've been pondering on doing this for a couple years. I'm almost 30 years old and I've done lots of stuff. Right now, I'm coming out from having my own startup, which worked great by the way for some time, and finally imploded like most startups do. So, after that experience, I thought that I should go into making something that resonated with my younger self rather than my adult self. So I'm making one of those things that I wanted to do as a kid. But as an adult, I've always found it to be one of the most overwhelming undertakings I could go into as a computer geek. I'm making my own video game. This is the start of my journey as a solo game developer. I hope it serves you as an inspiration as other people's journeys have been for me. I've been pondering for a handful of years the game I would like to make. Indie game development seems like a big buffet. You feel like you want to take on the world, but as in other fields, you better settle for a specific project at a time and go solely for that if you want to finish it. For me, as a creator, I think that the sweet spot resides between creating something that is somewhat attainable on the technical side, but you mostly do not know how to finish on the creative and story side. This makes it somewhat of a healthy challenge. In the years of tinkering with this field, I have found out that the technical aspect of things can get very annoying on the coding side when you really don't know what to do. Maybe it's just my perception as a right brain thinker, but I would really say it's better to be somewhat prepared technically speaking. In a nutshell, it's better to learn the fundamentals of programming before taking on this endeavor. I decided on making a 2D game mostly because of emotional reasons and not only technical ones. I thought that I should go into making something that felt close to home, that resonated with my younger self. I have made a conscious effort of not following a trend, even though in the last years there have been some of the best games in history in this genre. I decided to make a turn-based RPG because I feel that playing Pokemon through an emulator on my dad's IBM ThinkPad at the beginning of the 2000s is one of the fondest memories I have as a gamer. In the end, making this game is about connecting with my younger self through a technical undertaking. I'm using Unity as an engine because this is the one that has resonated with me through the years, even though it doesn't seem to be the easiest one for this type of project. I've been tinkering with it for some years, and I've always felt at home with all the tools and flexibility it offers. I've also found C# to be a very powerful language. It has its own intricacies, which I've become a fan of. It's a cool language when you get the hang of it, and believe me, it really took me a long time to get the hang of it, as I do not consider myself to be a natural born coder. On the contrary, I've always found coding to be my Achilles heel, but I will talk about that later on another video. Some people say it's better to create a bare bones prototype of any game that you're making, and then you can start on putting any graphics on top of the functional stuff. I beg to differ with that way of thinking. I would not like to start building something that somewhat works but is not moving towards having the look I want. So I started with the main character, a 16 by 32 purple spaceman I drew in Sprite. I've been drawing pixel art with a graphic tablet, which I feel makes it very practical, but I would not say it's an essential device at all. A mouse would also work great if you prefer it. I drew the 4 animated directions and started creating the character controller in Unity for setting a basic scene. After coding the player controller, I decided on working on the environment. I took a free open source tileset and worked on top of it as a reference. I've been experimenting with different shapes and color palettes that go with the look I want. I created some trees and rocks and also worked on a basic space base. After setting the scene with a basic tile palette on Unity, I decided that the next thing that I wanted to work on before the battle system would be the tall grass. This is something that I've always found to be one of the coolest things I saw in a classic RPG. It really felt like the natural environment I played on outside my childhood home. After designing the tall grass, I created the basic leaves animation and created a layer in Unity to detect when the player is inside the tall grass zone, So the animation of the grass is instanced through code and a mask is activated to create the illusion of being inside the grass. Then I set up a basic camera with some post-processing effects which I'm a fan of. I've been working on finding a look that resembles something like a distant kinda blurred memory on the edges. After working on this, I realized that Unity cameras have really come a long way on managing pixel art. I have not encountered some issues I had some years ago. With this, I finished the first and very small piece of this project called Spaceman Memories. Stay tuned to watch how I start building the battle system of random encounters inside the tall grass. So that was the first devlog for Spaceman Memories. Please subscribe to receive notifications for the next videos. They are coming. I will be talking about the battle manager, which is the next step on the development of the game. I will be talking also about the music, about the marketing, about the struggles, the spiritual struggles about creating a video game, my own struggles with coding, because I really do struggle with coding. That is, like I said, my Achilles heel. So yeah, please subscribe so you can keep up with more content about Nerdypunk. See you on the next video.